Good morning, everyone, and welcome to, boy, what may be the last episode or next to last episode, one more, okay, of How I Met Your Mortgage. I'm Adam Smith with Just the Tips Coaching, and with me, as always, is our marketing director, Jen Wayboer. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning.
And I guess Jen is doing this from her home this morning. We're having a somewhat wintry day up and down the Colorado Front Range for those of you that aren't local. And our guest this week is Stephanie Sawin. And Stephanie, who I've met and know, thank you for joining us. I'm really glad that we were able to find a slot that worked for everybody. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's our pleasure. I'm happy to have you as a guest on the show. I think we're going to get a good amount of insight from you because your roles in your life are relatively different. And just in the interest of jumping right into it, I obviously know your background. Stephanie and I have met, for those of you watching, and I know that she's got a lot on her plate in addition to her real estate business. So, Stephanie, tell us a little bit about yourself. In addition to being a real estate agent, you're a spouse, a parent. You've got a handful of full-time jobs.
I got a lot going on. So in addition to being a realtor, I have four kids, and they range from 10 to 3. So I mean that's part of the reason why I got in this business. I also have a husband. We've been married for 15 years. We were babies when we got married. And yeah, I also do investments on the side, and I'm an assistant basketball coach.
You've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
This must be a pretty exciting time of year in your house with four young kids with the holidays approaching.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, we were looking for a Christmas list before this. We planned out what Christmas cookies we're gonna make. We get about 16 people here during the holidays.
Wow. So,
So
yeah, full plate this time of year, all while juggling your real estate business.
oh yeah.
All right. Well, tell us about your real estate business. How long have you been in? When did you get in? Why did you get in? That one's usually a great topic, and we find all manner of different reasons for why people thought real estate was a good career path for them. Tell us
hmm
about yours.
So my husband and I have been talking about me going into real estate. Oh my gosh, probably for 8 years because it's right after my second daughter was born. And I've only been in the business for 4.5 years, so that tells you how long it took me to actually make the decision to leap on in. We bought our first house in 2010, so the market was still fairly low. And you know, we saw it jump up, so we sold and bought another house. And finally, when we were getting ready to sell and purchase again, it was kind of like, you know what, I'd love to get into this business. I think it could be really good. And I was one of those people that was like, this will be so easy. And lo and behold, it's not as easy as everybody thinks. It's actually a lot of work, and it is a business. It's something you can't really do as a hobby. You have to run it as a business. And yeah, and I got in one for the flexibility, which not as flexible as you would think, but flexible enough. You know, I could stay home today and do this from my home office, and also take care of my sick kid, and really, and I can be an assistant basketball coach and still make a very, very good living. So that's the main reason. And then it kind of morphed into, oh my gosh, real estate is one of those outlets. You can be super creative even when you're just making an offer. And then I kind of pushed that out into, you can be creative into basically taking control of your finances. I love the fact that I don't have to go into work every day and worry about who's in control of my job and the amount of money that I'm making. Because, I mean, it's a lot of pressure because it is all on me, but at the same time, it's within my control. So I really like to teach people, whether you're just buying one house or you want to buy multiple properties and learn how to make money off of real estate, that it is a very, very good financial investment, and it's something that you can control. If that makes sense.
it make it certainly to us. I can't imagine. Well, the majority of our industries, real estate, mortgages. I think that the majority of our audience would certainly understand that. I'm not so certain about the consumer, but I do love that you're working diligently to educate them, or as many of them as you can, and as to why this is a good idea. And I've kind of always had the mindset that everybody either owns real estate or wants to.
Right.
And I guess there is probably a percentage of the population that doesn't fit into those categories, but I can't imagine why they wouldn't. And hopefully, with enough time and effort and diligence, we can uh, educate as many people, help as many people as possible. Um, so I'm assuming that at a minimum, Jen wants to know, since she hasn't met you, um, what it looked like when you first got into the business. Yeah, Jen?
Yeah, you want to know, Jen? When I first got into the business, I mean, I don't know how detailed you guys want me to get, but I had interviewed with one brokerage and was like, oh, you're awesome. I'm totally there. So that's my first mistake. I was with them for 6 months and just wasn't a good fit. And also, I was super excited because I was selling my own house. So of course that was like my first instant commission, and I was again, oh wow, this is easy. And then I took a vacation, and then I came back and was like, what do I do now? I have no more houses to sell. I don't know anyone. So it really started with, okay, I need to find some great support, some great training. So I interviewed multiple companies and found a company that was just the right fit, and I'm still with them. I love the company I work for. So that's kind of how it started. I sold my own house, I bought my own house, and I was like, oh, that was easy. I could do that. But when you're working with actual clients and actual people and just trying to find those people, it's a whole other ballgame.
And that is, and I think that there's certainly a major failure in the fact that a lot of people getting into real estate, and you fell into this trap as well, don't understand that it's really two jobs. That there is
Oh,
this real estate portion of it, and you've got to know how to do negotiations and contracts and inspections and all of the legal requirements and all of the fiduciary responsibilities and so on and so forth. But the sales side, the lead generation side, the attracting clients, maintaining clients, those kinds of things, is a whole separate workload that a lot of people don't understand.
oh yeah. I would say, the legal side of it and writing the contracts and negotiating, that's a huge part of our business, but we don't do any of that until we get clients. And so you need to know how, like, it kind of is sales. It's a huge relationship based business, and it's a lot of marketing. So you have to be very, very good at marketing to be good at this business. And people have to like you, which, I don't get along with everybody, but I try. I understand, that's why there's so many realtors, which I think is great because personalities match up with different personalities.
Well, and I think, and Jen would probably agree, I think there's an equally important, well, maybe not equally, but there's an important part of this that if you don't get along with everybody, that's the segment of people that you wouldn't want to work with anyway.
Exactly.
So, part of your marketing, for those of you watching, part of your marketing, you've got to be true to you. You've got to be the authentic you because you're going to subsequently repel the people that don't like you, that you don't like, and neither of
Right.
you would want to work with the other anyway.
Exactly.
So there's a big piece of that, no question. So when you made this change to this company that you landed at, where you're still at, and this is probably about 4 years ago now, if my numbers are uh, uh, on, mortgage lender, so I'm not real good at math. Um, so what did that look like initially? What kind of opportunities, training, lead gen? What are we talking about that helped you bridge that gap between knowing the real estate portion of the business and getting onto the marketing, lead gen, sales side of the business?
So the company where I'm currently at, they offer a huge variety of free training and then also paid training. So a lot of the free training is, stuff to help you with contracts negotiation, but also with like a lot of online lead generation or kind of more the traditional stuff like open houses, door knocking, farming, that type of stuff. they offer training that we can pay for that is more lead generation based off of referrals or I'm trying to think what other ones. A lot of that relationship building. And then we have monthly meetings at my office, just a lot of support going on, really to help keep you motivated. Because again, you're running your own business. If you're not motivated, you're not working.
That's a true story. Holy cow. Yeah,
Yeah.
motivation is a big thing. Okay, so when that started and you were
Uh-huh.
offered all these opportunities, what did you really embrace? What did you find success with when you were doing lead gen as what was still a relatively new agent?
So I'm going to be honest with you. When I first got started, I was a big dabbler, which again is a number one like lesson learned. You can't dabble. You have to either go 100% or it's not going to happen. Um, the past, let's see, or I guess like the first couple of years, I kind of found what I enjoyed the most. And that was meeting people face to face. And the best way to do that was open houses. Again, we're not in a huge open house market anymore, just with all the online technology. So I really had to push open houses and meet people face to face while doing other lead generation activities. I do my own podcast too. I haven't done one in a while, but that was another good kind of like online booster for lead gen and kind of for a way to get for people to get to know me even if they never met me too. I do a lot of networking, a lot of business to business networking. Again, I love face to face. So that's my
All right,
biggest one.
before we
Yeah.
get too far down that road, I seem to recall you saying the last time we met that you were still really bad about doing your podcast episodes. So here we are months and months later, and it's the same. So I'm gonna make sure that Jen pings you a reminder every month to do a podcast.
Yeah. The hardest part, honestly, is finding a guest and then correlating it with the studio and getting everybody in the same place at the same time.
Hey, we
You know,
understand. No question.
you
No
guys just
small task. Very good stuff. Okay, so I would be willing to bet that um, all of these opportunities that open themselves up when you change companies and the dabbling, and I agree with you that there's no reason to take on dozens of different ideas and do them
right.
half-assed and do them a bit at a time. You've got to find one, you've got to commit to it, you've got to see if it works, you've got to systemize and automate as best you can, and then maybe go find another and maybe three. There's not a need for this enormous arsenal of lead generation activities for those of you watching that you need to do. You just need to find the right ones. And
And
sometimes a
find one
little.
that you love too. Because if
Oh
you don't
yeah,
love it, you're not going to do it.
yeah, absolutely. If and that's funny because I we have a coaching client here at Just the Tips that uh, told us he was going to start door knocking. Going to go door knocking. It's not something I would do, but I'll never judge any of you for how you want to do your lead gen as long as you do it. And he said he's going to do 4 hours every Saturday. Sounds good to me. And after a month, he called and said, "Well, that didn't work." It's like, well, hang on, let's slow down because you did it for a month. 4 Saturdays, 4 hours, 16 hours total. That's basically one work day in the life of a new real estate agent. And you're telling me it didn't work. Tell me it sucked. Tell me you hated doing it. But don't tell me it didn't work. If you did it every Saturday for 4 hours for a year, it would work
Oh, yeah.
without question. So that's the kind of commitment that you've got to make to your lead gen activities, whatever it happens to be, before you can really make some kind of determination as to whether or not there's a return on the investment of either money or time. And it's going to be both. I'm really big on the ones that are an investment of time. I don't see a need for agents to be spending a ton of money on their lead gen activities with the invent of social media and what we're doing here with the video opportunities and those door knocking, open houses, these kinds of things are great lead gen activities that don't cost a dime. So I'm certainly big into the time commitment versus the money commitment. But I'd be willing to bet that there were a number of things that you experimented with that fell into one of those categories where it either cost money that wasn't well spent or
Mm-hmm.
time that you didn't enjoy, and that there were
Right.
some pitfalls that didn't fall within your personality.
Oh, yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so Tell us about the lead gen activities that you don't like. I think that'd be a fun twist on what we usually do.
I'm not a huge online lead gen person. Again, like you, I don't believe that you should have to pay thousands of dollars to meet new people and find clients. And that's what some people have to do to make their online lead generation work because they need the numbers. So the conversion rate, depending on how good you are, but average is around 1%. So for every 100 people you get online, you're going to get one client. Um, and again, I mean, it's very frustrating, and a lot of it has to do with people fill out your online form. Oh, yay! Like they want me to call them. No.
Now they really well only one out of 100, but yes.
Yeah, but most of the time you get hung up on, and again, it's not a great feeling, but you have to be motivated to work, and that's just not motivating to me.
Well, and there's an enormous time consumption, and I don't want to completely poo-poo internet leads. Just 99% of what goes into it. There's an enormous time commitment, without equivocation. The expense is all over the board, from expensive to stupid expensive.
Right.
And there are some tactics, there are some ways to
Sure.
convert those leads, as it were. But yes, I'd have to agree that if I were to list out all of the things that you guys watching could do in your lead gen activities, that would be way at the bottom of the list.
For sure. I mean, a good example is I get emails from lenders all the time, but I'll just say, oh no, thanks. But when we first met, it was like, hey, you want to grab coffee? Of course I will. Like, absolutely, I would love to get to know you. It's easier to sell someone in person, face to face, when they get to know you rather than just through an email or even through a phone call.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Well,
I told that it's very, very time consuming. It's a lot of nurturing that relationship to get it somewhere.
well, that's part of the problem is that, and you said it when we first started, it's a relationship related business.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to it's certainly much easier to form and build and further a relationship face to face than you could over the phone or over email or over text or whatever the case may be, where there's zero nonverbal communication, that kind of thing. But it's a lot more fun, it's a lot more entertaining, and you're really getting that opportunity to determine whether or not this is somebody you'd want to work with. When you guys get a lead from Zillow or Realtor.com or whatever the other big internet lead sources are that you're participating with, you have no idea what that person is like, nor do they about you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult. You're basically starting at a negative level rather than even at level zero, as far as determining whether or not you would, could, or should build a relationship with this person. And there's an amazing amount of work that goes in after we've already spent the money, no less, to get to level zero to start that relationship process, assuming you can even get that 1 out of 100 on the phone. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, internet leads are tough. All right, tell us one other thing that you hate in the lead gen activity world, and I'm gonna have Jen ask you about the ones that you do like.
One other thing that I hate in the lead gen world, I it's tough because I really hate online ones. I'm willing to make the rest work. Um, I don't really know. I mean, like I said, I like open houses, but there's times where they're slow or you just get neighbors. But still, it's nice to talk to those people. I guess I'm not a huge fan of door knocking. I did do it for a few months when I first got started. Again, it's very time consuming. It's a lot of work. And just like, most people don't want you to call them when they register for something on the internet. A lot of people don't answer their doors. A lot of people don't even use their doors. Like, there's a lot of dirty porches and doorsteps out there because most people use their garages.
True story.
Yeah, I haven't been door knocking in a long time. I'll door knock if I have a listing for an open house, but not necessarily in a farm unless it's like a special event and we're giving something away. So I door knock with a purpose and a gift.
So how else do you get the word out there about your open houses besides your door knocking and
I do online advertising. I'll advertise to my network and my database and just kind of spread the word. A lot of it's through Facebook. A lot of people know that I'll do a live video of the open house if we can't make it, so they know to kind of tune in and look for that, which is kind of a positive and negative because some people are like, well, I don't have to go, just watch a video, but people will look for it, or I'll just do part of the video so they have to come to the open house to see the rest of the house.
That's probably smart. And I would think that, there are a couple of things that obviously people are really interested in when it comes to a house: the kitchen, the master bath, the front elevation. And yeah, I would probably skip the rest, kind of put it out there as a teaser and see if you can't woo them into your web, as it were.
I would say the biggest thing wrong with video too is you can't smell that house. That's important. You need to know what that house smells like. It could be gorgeous, but smells bad.
That's funny. I don't think anybody's ever mentioned the way a house smells on the show.
True.
Okay.
It's true. So what other lead gen activities did you like from your dabbling days?
For my dabbling days, I've been networking for a very, very long time, so that's one of my favorite ones. I have 2 events that I go to every single month that I really enjoy. And yeah, I've recently, in the past probably year and a half, got into referral-based lead generation, and that's my favorite so far.
It's the best there is.
Full, but there is like a process and kind of helping your clients learn how to give you a referral, and you learn how to ask for referrals, and it's a great lead generation type of thing because you're working with people you'd like to work with.
Right.
Well, and those people hang out with other people you're likely to want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, something that you mentioned there that's uber important for every one of you watching live or in syndication, you got to ask for the business.
Yep.
Whatever that arena is, a referral partner, a past client, that any advocate out there that would be in a position to refer you business, which is everyone, you've got to ask for the business. We lost Steph, yes?
Oh.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Okay, so we lost Stephanie. The beauty of live video. All right, so we'll try to stall and improvise in that interim and see if Stephanie comes back on. We'll certainly hope so. But, Jen, I do think that Stephanie made some really solid points. A couple that were certainly new to the content that we've had on the show the last couple of years. I do think that it's important to commit. If you guys are going to pick some kind of a lead gen activity, then you've got to commit to it. You've got to hit the gas on it. It's the only way you're really going to discover whether or not it's something that's going to be successful. And I see we got Stephanie back. Excellent. I think we did a good job at stalling and, improvising. Keep going, Stephanie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so we can hear her. We're just, the video is just in and out.
Okay, sorry. Oh, you were telling me.
It's live. This is the way that things work. I promise our audience understands.
Everyone's on the edge of their seat now, though. They're super excited to see what I have to say.
or to see what happened.
Right? Where'd she go? Is it the storm?
But Stephanie, please continue. Don't let tech interruptions interrupt you.
I think I was just talking about referral-based lead generation and how it's been very successful for me, and it's a great way to generate leads because you just, ask your friends, your family, your past clients, and say, hey, I would love to work with someone else who's exactly like you, and then you're getting people that you're going to like to work with.
Well, and what kind of things are you doing with that past database? And you and Jen could probably compare notes here on making sure you're staying top of mind. That if one of your past clients is going to have a conversation about real estate 2 weeks from now, that they remember that they saw something from you, got something from you, had a conversation with you. What do those activities look like for Stephanie's business and for Jen's business?
Right. So it's about, I send out a monthly mailer. It's not just a letter. It's usually like an article, and it has something to do with the month. So today, or this month, was all about, finding the time to do your Christmas shopping and go to all the parties and kind of how to organize that. And do a lot of just keeping in touch, not even just real estate stuff, but like, hey, congratulations on your baby, congratulations on your anniversary, or I've literally sent out just a quick note that's like, you're awesome, like, thanks for meeting for coffee. And then, people for coffee, and I do client events, depending on the event, but I usually do probably about 3 or 4 a year. And again, they're not always real estate related. We did a bar crawl down here in Castle Rock. That was super fun. And I partnered with my insurance guy that I refer people out to, and it was really fun. And I got to meet some of his people. He got to meet some of mine. I do pies every year at Thanksgiving, and we have a party. And then, this is off real estate, but I also do a block party in my neighborhood just to meet all the neighbors or reconnect, because in the wintertime, we just all shovel our driveways and run back inside.
True story, including some today, I'm sure.
I think a big part of what you were saying is that it's not all real estate related, and that's something we talk about with Just the Tips a lot, is that it's not self-serving. You're talking about things that are important to them and letting them know who you really are and not just what you do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those are certainly key pieces. And okay, so for those of you watching, if everybody you know doesn't know you're in real estate, you're already failing. Go back a step and make sure that you're doing that. Go find a branding 101 class. But the who you are piece, what you're like, the kinds of things that Steph is doing are providing those kinds of opportunities for her to really let people know who she is, what she's about, what she's like, what it's like to hang out with her. Parties and events and a bar crawl. Come on. This is a great opportunity to really learn what somebody's like. The Latin would be in vino veritas, which means in wine there is truth. And, once somebody has a drink or two, or hopefully not too many more, we really start to get an opportunity to learn what those people are like, because we've, dropped a bit of a facade that we would have when we're stone cold sober. So there's really kind of a cool opportunity in there for her to learn a lot about the people she's worked with or wants to work with or would refer her more people to work with. So that's really a legit idea there, Steph. A pub crawl's really sharp. That's a fun one. All right, so Stephanie, in the interest of not denying you the opportunity to express more about who you are and what you're like and what it would be like to work with you, we certainly do get some consumer viewership. So give us the deets on how to reach out to you. Social media, text, phone, fax, carrier pigeon, email, whatever, so that Jen can post that information in the video and people can reach out to you if they want.
For sure. The best way is phone or text, which is 720-306-1492. And again, my name's Stephanie Sawin. I'm with Exit Realty. You can find me on Facebook, or my website is www.yourcoloradocastle.com. I focus on not only getting you the home of your dreams, but getting you something that's going to make financial sense. I don't believe in making people house poor, and I also believe in helping people make money off of real estate, because it is a very, very lucrative market and something that you should really think about as an investment for your retirement as well. There's an amazing income stream that's out there that's untapped for sure.
Well, and I think that there's certainly a relatively untapped avenue in the fact that you do approach your real estate practice when it comes to your clients from an investment standpoint, sure. Which is also a little different, which I certainly appreciate. I remember you telling me about that the last time we met. All right. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. And I told you 30 minutes would whip by. Even without the technical issues, it certainly does. And for those of you watching, again, thank you. Whether you're watching live or in syndication, if you'd like to see past episodes, if you'd like to see our weekly little tip, which we'll start putting out here shortly as we do every Monday throughout the course of the week, or if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want a copy of my book, Just the Tips, use that text code at the bottom of your screen. You can text TIPS to 63566. Stephanie, don't go anywhere. I'm going to run our extra, but I do want to chat with you further. The rest of you, have a great week. Happy holidays, and we will see you soon.